Good morning! Today, we will solve some real-life problems na may kaugnayan sa inverse functions. Example number 1. The relationship between temperatures in degree Fahrenheit and in degree Celsius is given by degree Fahrenheit is equal to 9/5 degrees Celsius plus 32. What is the corresponding value in degree Celsius of 100 degree Fahrenheit? So, sa solution natin, hindi natin i-interchange ang F and C variables kasi it refers to their temperatures. So, we will solve for C in terms of F. So, transpose lamang natin. Use additive inverse ang 32 sa kabila since we want C lamang yung matitira sa kabilang side. So, meron na tayong degree Fahrenheit minus 32 is equal to 9/5 degrees Celsius. So, we divide both sides by 9/5. Therefore, we have 5/9 times the quantity of degree Fahrenheit minus 32 is equal to degree Celsius. So, meron na tayo ngayong formula for degree Celsius. Ita-substitute lamang natin ang given 100 degree Fahrenheit. So, we have 5/9 times the quantity of 100 minus 32 is equal to degree Celsius. So, subtract 100 minus 32, we have 5/9 times 68 is equal to degree Celsius. So, our final answer will be 37.78 degrees Celsius. Therefore, 100 degree Fahrenheit is equal to 37.78 degrees Celsius. Second example, Andrew and his friend are playing a number guessing game. Andrew asks his friend to think a positive number, then add 3 to the number. Next, square the resulting number and multiply the result by 4. Finally, divide the result by 2. If you are his friend and you get a result of 50, write an inverse function that will give you the original number and determine the original number. So for our solution, we have x. X to represent the positive number. Second, we add 3 to the number. Next, square the resulting number. So, i-square lang natin. Next, I multiply the result by 4. Multiply by 4. Finally, divide the result by 2. Therefore, all over 2. Thus, may function na tayo na f of x is equal to 4 times the quantity of x plus 3 squared all over 2. So, hahanapin naman natin ang inverse function since we're looking for its inverse. For letter A, write an inverse function. So, we write f of x is equal to y. We interchange the x and y variable. Multiply both sides by 2, we get 2x is equal to 4 times the quantity of y plus 3 squared. So, divide lang both sides by 4. We have 2x over 4 is equal to quantity y plus 3 squared. So, kunin natin yung square root of both sides. And 2 over 4, ang lowest term niya ay 1/2. So, we have square root of x over 2 is equal to y plus 3. So, use additive inverse, transpose 3 to the other side. We have square root of x over 2 minus 3 is equal to y. Therefore, ang inverse natin ay square root of x over 2 minus 3. So we will find or determine the original number for letter B since meron na tayong inverse. And ang makuha nating result kanina, sabi sa given ay, if you are his friend, you get a result of 50. So we will find the inverse of 50. So substitute lang natin ang value ng x, which is 50. So we have square root of 50 over 2 minus 3. So 50 divided by 2 is equal to 25. We have square root of 25 minus 3, and square root of 25 is equal to 5. So therefore we have 5 minus 3, and that is 2. Thus the original number is 2. Example number 3, the SSG officers of Kamahag National High School are planning for a GS prom. The allocated budget for decorations, sounds, and other miscellaneous expenses is 10,000 pesos, and then additional of 150 pesos for meal expenses for each guest. The organization received an amount of 40,000 pesos from its external stakeholders. A. Write the total allocated budget as a function of the number of guests. Find the inverse of the function. C. State the dominant range for the situation and find the possible number of guests for a budget of 40,000 pesos. So for our solution, for letter A, unahin natin ang A, write the total allocated budget as a function of the number of guests. So we let X as the number of guests, and we let f of x as the allocated budget. Therefore, we have f of x, or the allocated budget, is equal to 10,000, which is the fixed na expenses, yung mga miscellaneous and others, plus 150 for meal expenses for each guest. So, depende pa kung ilang guests. So, plus 150x. For letter B, find the inverse of the function. Since we already have the function f of x is equal to 10,000 plus 150x, we write it in the form y is equal to 10,000 plus 150x. We interchange the x and y variable. So, we have x is equal to 10,000 plus 150x. Transpose lang natin ang 10,000 sa other side or use additive inverse. We have x minus 10,000 is equal to 150y. Divide both sides by 150, and we've got x minus 10,000 all over 150 is equal to 5. Therefore, the inverse of f of x is equal to x minus 10,000 all over 150. Letter C, state the dominant range for the situation. So, since may inverse function na tayo, we will find the inverse of 40,000. So, our x will be, we substitute 40,000 to our x. So, 40,000 minus 10,000 all over 150. So, we have 30,000 over 150. Therefore, we've got 200. So our domain is x is an element of real where x is greater than or equal to 0, but less than or equal to 40,000. And our range, yung nakuha nating answer, is y is an element of real where y is greater than or equal to 0, but less than or equal to 200. So, bawal na lumagpas sa 200 guests since lalagpas din ang budget nila sa 40,000 pesos. Letter D, find the possible number of guests for a budget of 40,000. Since nakuha na natin kanina yung maximum guest na pwede, o kakasya dun sa budget na 40,000? So, ang answer natin ay 200 guests may attend the JS prom. Example number 4, Maria wants to buy a particular breed of bangus and she is aware that the weight W in kilograms of a particular breed of bangus is related to its length L in centimeter. Given this function W is equals to 5.32 times 10 raised to negative 3 times L squared, find its inverse and determine the approximate length of a bangus that weighs 0.769 kilogram. So, sa solution natin, since may function na tayo, hindi rin natin i-interchange ang W at L variable since it refers to their measurements. So, we will solve for length in terms of weight. Or simply, hanapin lang natin yung L. So, divide both sides by the quantity 5.32 times 10 raised to negative 3. So, we have weight over 5.32 times 10 raised to negative 3 is equal to L squared. So, kunin natin ang square root ng both sides. So, we have W, square root of weight over 5.32 times 10 raised to negative 3 is equal to length. So, meron na tayo ngayong formula for our length. And we substitute the weight of 0.769 sa ating W. And we've got L is equal to 12.02. Example number 5. Luis is standing on the ground to take a series of photographs of a kite rising vertically. The distance between Luis at P and the launching point of the kite A is 500 meters. Luis must keep the kite on site and therefore its angle of elevation must change with the height x of the kite. Letter A, find the angle T as a function of the height x. Letter B, find the angle T in degrees when x is equal to 150 meters. Letter C, find the angle T in degrees when x is equal to 300 meters. Letter A, find the angle T as a function of the height x. So, ito si Luis na magte-take ng photograph. At sabi dito, ang distance between Luis at P, so si Luis ang ating point B, at ang launching point ng kite A, ito yung kite natin. Ito yung point A, kung saan nag-start lumipad ang ating kite, is 500 meters. Luis must keep the kite on site and therefore its angle of elevation must change with the height x of the kite. So, ito yung height x ng ating kite. At ito naman yung angle of elevation kung saan magte-take ng picture si Luis. So, para dito, gagamit tayo ng SOHCAHTOA. So, sa SOH, we have sine t. Gamitin natin na representation ng angle ang t since we are looking for angle t is equal to OH, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine, yung ka, is adjacent over hypotenuse. Well, tangent t is equal to yung tawa natin, opposite over adjacent. So, para dito, gagamitin natin ay opposite over adjacent since ang available na given natin ay opposite sa ating angle of elevation which is x. And ang adjacent side natin which is 500. So, meron na tayong tangent t is equal to x over 500. So, pag kinuha natin ang inverse ng ating tangent, that is arctan. Or tangent raised to negative 1, arctan po. So, we have t, the angle is equal to arctan times x over 500. So, meron na tayong angle t as a function of the height x. Letter B, find the angle t in degrees when x is equal to 150 meters. Since meron na tayong function kanina, substitute lamang natin ang 150 natin sa ating x, which is the height. So we have the angle is equal to arc tan 150 over 500, and that is, the angle will be 16.699. Letter C, find the angle t in degrees when x is equal to 300 meters. So same procedure. Substitute lang natin ang 300 meters natin sa ating height, which is x. So we have angle is equal to arc tan 300 over 500. And our angle will be 30.964 degree.